people have opinions about me, and they haven't even met me. They don't even know me. So I thought it was time to open up, to show them who I really am. I'm just simply Michael Jackson.
Everyone knows what Michael Jackson was like when the lights came on. The performances, the rehearsals, the crowds, all of that has been seen countless times. But the hours away from the stage were very different. What did Michael actually do when he woke up in the morning? What did Snorts eat? How did he stay in shape? Music. And when there wasn't a concert that night, how much of his day was still devoted to music? Music, because even away from the spotlight, a normal day for Michael Jackson wasn't exactly normal. Yes, put it on right now. You realizing you're photographing me without any makeup on, blood super soaker. Now I know how to wake up Elizabeth tomorrow. How? Awful. God. You better like your daughter. A shooting gallery. For years, a day in Michael Jackson's music, life could begin somewhere unlike almost any other home in the world. Neverland wasn't simply a large house with some extra land around it. Michael had built an entire environment there with rides, animals, a movie theater, and huge open spaces where he could get away from everything. Music visitors might have seen it as this unbelievable escape, but for Michael, it was simply home. And there was a very specific reason he wanted his home to feel this way. Neverland appeals to the child inside of every man, woman, and child. It's a place where I feel that you can return to your childhood. You find grown-ups, doing things they hadn't done since they were like 10 years old. It's just a fun, wonderful place to be. There was also almost always something to do without ever leaving the property. Music. Michael had enough space to ride quads, go horseback riding, explore the hills, or simply disappear somewhere quiet for music a few hours. That freedom mattered when stepping outside almost anywhere else could immediately attract attention. Michael became deeply attached to Neverland, and when he talked about what he actually did around the property, you could understand why. So much to do. I always wanted to have a place where you're just busy all day, and there's just unlimited space to go on quads and mountains and horseback and all kind of fun things. It's just a fun place. I love it, and I will always love it. I will never ever sell Neverland. Neverland is me, it represents the totality of who I am. It really does. I love Neverland. When it came to food, though, Michael's routine was surprisingly grounded. Music. During his final months, personal chef Kai Chase prepared meals for Michael and his children. She didn't try to make everything overly elaborate just because she was cooking for Michael Jackson. Instead, she kept his meals fairly simple while bringing in different flavors and influences, and her description gives a pretty good idea of what could actually end up on Michael's table. I had staff that worked with me, but what I decided to do for him was something really simple and taste-worthy. So, I did a lot of different tapas, but I married those flavors, music, with the way he grew up and his nationality. So, we did Hawaiian influences, I did Indonesian influences, African influences, and American. But having a personal chef around didn't mean Michael always wanted the healthy option. Magic Johnson discovered that when Michael invited him over for dinner, Magic was sitting at this enormous table with one of his biggest idols and deliberately ordered grilled chicken and vegetables. He assumed Michael would probably be eating something similar. Then Michael's meal arrived. The lid came off and Magic realized he had completely misread the situation. So I came in beautiful home and Music had this long table. So I'm sitting down here, eat down at that end. And the people come out serving the food. So I ordered some chicken, grilled chicken, and vegetables because I'm trying to think eating healthy. So I'm going to eat healthy too. Laughter, I don't want to let my hero down. So the guy raised the lid. Bam. Other person comes out with raise the lid, and it's a bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken. Stop it. Stop it. I start screaming. Michael, you eating Kentucky Fried Chicken, man. I said, hold up. I got to come down there and share that bucket. I went down there. We sat on the floor and tore that chicken. You tore it up. This a true story. I believe you. A true story. Laughter. Once Michael became a father, his life at home changed significantly. Prince, Paris, and Blanket, music, became a huge part of how he spent his time away from music. The public usually saw the children surrounded by security or with their faces covered. But that was only the outside version of their lives. Behind closed doors, Michael was doing many of the ordinary things any parent would do, and home footage showed a side of their relationship the public rarely got to see. Rare glimpse of Jackson as father, a side not often seen in public. Michael was an incredible father. Not by myself. Help me. Music. He actually was one of the best fathers I'd ever seen. He would spend time with his children. He would talk to his children. He would spend time teaching his children. I never saw a man so close to his children that Michael, they were the world to him. He doted over them. He taught him to read early. And he was constantly with they never left his side. Daddy, I have thank you for giving me ice cream. You're the best daddy in the whole world, and I love you. Education was also something Michael took seriously. He was closely involved with his children's schooling and wanted them to actually enjoy learning instead of simply being told to study. One of the ways he did that was by making music books valuable inside the house. He created a little system that encouraged the children to read and showed them that knowledge was something worth earning. Now Sammy sometimes get a lift to his school in the car with us. And even though he still can't say my name, when I wave goodbye in a sad sort of way, he waves back to me. And sometimes when we go to the park, I don't play with my friends. I just lie in the green grass with Sammy instead. I don't build castles or dig long tunnels. I just sit next to Sammy and let the silky sand trickle through my fingers instead. It feels so soft and smooth that it makes us laugh. Snorts, and when we feel happy in a special sort of way, sometimes I think I'm lucky to have a special brother because that makes me special too. Look, the harder part was giving them anything close to a normal childhood once they left home. Photographers could follow the family almost anywhere, and Michael knew what it was like to grow up with strangers constantly watching. That led to some unusual precautions, including the masks his children were sometimes seen wearing in public. People had plenty to say about it at the time, music, but Michael had his own reason for going that far. We shielded his kids from a lot of the, I want to say, madness craziness that was going on. So they were unaware of times in which we would be staying at hotels and we would receive death threats or threatening letters dropped off at the front desk. And I would make the call that we were going to leave, and we would leave in the middle music of the night without anyone knowing. And the kids just didn't know that why we were leaving, you know? They just thought that we were just making another move. But his concern for his kids was, keep all the craziness away from them and trying to have a normally life with them. We've taken the kids out without him several times. Circus, ice cream shops, amusement parks, playgrounds. We did a lot of that without him because he felt that way the kids can just enjoy themselves. When it came to staying in shape, Michael's routine also looked different from what people might expect. There isn't much evidence of a strict daily gym schedule. Instead, dancing itself became a huge part of his physical conditioning. Preparing for a performance meant hours of movement, repetition, and choreography. What eventually looked effortless on stage required an enormous amount of stamina behind the scenes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And rehearsals could easily take over a large part of the day. Michael wasn't someone who practiced a sequence a few times and moved on. If something could be sharper, smoother, or better timed, he would keep working on it. At the same time, he was building the stamina needed to sing and move through an entire show. That could mean repeating the same section again and again, sometimes late into the night. You go. Yeah, right. So, you should just be coming off the left foot. I did Beat It with Michael Peters, which I choreographed portions of that as well. And as I told John Landis, I want my computers to work on this thing. And so we got together and we did certain steps and he did certain things. I said, no, I don't like that. And he said, yeah, I like this or I don't like that what I did. Bang, bang, bang. Shoulder, shoulder, and hip, and a bad chin. Oh, early victor. But rehearsing wasn't only about getting his own steps right. Michael seemed to be paying attention to everything happening around him at once. He listened to the band, watched the dancers, and worked through staging with people like Kenny Ortega. If something in the music didn't sound right, he could stop everything and explain what needed changing. The same went for movements, entrances, music, and other details of the show. 6, 7, 8. Who's there? Not every working day was spent under stage lights, though. A huge part of Michael's creative life happened inside recording studios. He could spend hours building songs, recording vocals, and experimenting with sounds. The environment was much quieter than rehearsal, but the attention to detail was the same. Once Michael started working on a record, even in music, small sound could become something he wanted to get exactly right. You're not going to say hell that way. You hold that. You. Music, stand up. Oh yeah. And you hold out. You stand up. You stand up. Only God knows that again. Music. One unusual part of that process was how Michael communicated musical ideas. Music. He didn't always need to sit down at an instrument to show musicians what he was hearing. If the arrangement was already clear in his head, he could use something he always had available, his own voice. Music. And some recordings give a fascinating example of how detailed those ideas already were before musicians even played them. Oh, listen. Music, hit it. What you're hearing is not an electric drum machine. It's a hardwired 48-track, digitally mastered human. So I'll take that and use that as the main foundation for the track and build all the sounds around that. What I'm saying, once Michael got locked into that process, normal working hours didn't mean much. Studio sessions could continue late into the night if he still had an idea to finish or something he wanted to improve. A vocal might need another take, or one sound might still feel wrong. Music. If the music was coming together, Michael wasn't necessarily going home because the clock said the working day was over. We would hear him in the studio. Once we heard the music going on, we knew this was 3 o'clock, 4 in the morning, that we would hear him go into the studio and getting some work, and whether it was dancing, singing, because the room was mirrored out. It'd be just him. Then there was the business side of being Michael Jackson. His career involved far more than recording music and performing it. Music. There were meetings, phone calls, tour plans, music videos, and decisions about future projects. Michael was involved in many of the creative choices himself. Music, so the work could continue long after a rehearsal or studio session finished. Music. At his level, there wasn't really a clear point where the job completely stopped. Those are that we licensed for a couple of days. Not this. And I love our little girl. We love the idea of the little girl, Michael, almost like a little something very, very delicate, finding a little moment. Do you like that? Yeah. Him. There has to be a real reason for doing it and really invest the time. There has to be something there that makes it all important. Music. And so, in appreciation of all of that, he thought it would be fun to do a 3D thriller. Do not show this to anyone, or I'll have Vincent Price haunt you in your dreams. Laughter that made some of the most ordinary parts of life surprisingly difficult. Michael couldn't simply decide to walk into a supermarket without people recognizing him and creating a crowd. So, for his private home movies, he came up with a way to finally experience it. A supermarket was closed off and filled with people he knew, allowing Michael to grab a cart, walk through the aisles, and shop without strangers surrounding him. A good friend of mine who owns this mall, he had them close the whole shopping mall, and music had people in there that I knew, pretending as if they were shopping. So it felt like, it was a real environment. Had my cousins dressed like they were bag boys, and when I went shopping, it was great. Music, they planned everything right down to the music. Did you answer there? Said it starts to now people will know who you are when you put the glove on. Back at Neverland, Michael didn't always need to be the person entertaining everyone either. Music, his private theater, gave him somewhere to sit back and become part of the audience for a change. One home video shows him watching a magic performance, smiling and reacting along with everyone else. It's a small moment. But after seeing Michael spend so much time performing for other people, watching him enjoy someone else's show feels completely music different. I'm going into the movie theater to see a magic show. 2 ice cream. That's her. Janet loves to eat. Watch Augie. They got to put their neck in there. Everybody's going to say 1. Everybody's going to say 2. Everybody's going to say he ran. Well, look at him. He ran. He ran out of that's hilarious. His downtime could be even simpler than that. Home videos show Michael climbing trees, getting into water fights, playing games, and enjoying the rides around Neverland. There didn't always need to be some elaborate plan. Sometimes he just wanted to go outside and have fun. Music, it was one of the few places where he could do that without immediately having hundreds of strangers watching him. Either be thrown in the pool, or you have a water balloon fight or a super soaker fight. And I love all of the above. That's Janet. We think so much alike. I love it. He come. Come on, Daddy. See, Mac takes big buckets of water and throw them on. He cheats a lot, but he's fun. He loves to have fun, just like me. It's a tie. Or off the field. Super soakers are really high-tech. They got some really great rings now. That's Mike's older brother, Shane. But getting away, music from work didn't necessarily mean Michael had stopped creating. One of his favorite places at Neverland was a large tree he called the music-giving tree. Michael would climb into its branches and spend time there alone, away from most of the noise below. It looked like somewhere he could simply relax, but Michael later revealed that some very important creative ideas came to him while he was sitting up there. I call it my giving tree because it inspires me. I love climbing trees in general, but this tree I love the most because I climb up high and I look down on its branches and it gives me, I just love it. So many ideas. I've written so many of my songs in this tree. I wrote 'em Heal the World in this tree. Will you be there, black or white? Childhood. Quiet time could also mean reading. Michael was an avid reader, and his interests stretched far beyond music. Music. He read about art, history, and people whose work fascinated him. He also liked studying people who had accomplished extraordinary things, trying to understand what made them different. It fits with the way he approached his own career. Even away from rehearsals and recording sessions, music, he was constantly absorbing ideas. Anytime he was going into a bookstore, he wasn't buying one or two books. No. He was easily walking out with thousands of dollars worth. We have to leave the books there and go get a U-Haul and cup them because they wouldn't fit in our detail trucks, right? We'd buy that many. Yes. Oh, you got to keep going to him and getting the books from him and go put it back on the counter. Go up to him again, go grab the books, put them back on the counter. How many would he buy with? How many he wanted? $4,000 or $5,000 worth minimum. What kind of books did Michael mostly read? History. He read Furs magazines. Raw Report. He read 'em all science fictional. Did he read all of the books that he bought? I believe so. As much knowledge as being around him, we learned some every day going to work. I tell you that right now. He was unbelievable. He was very, very intelligent. 3,000, 4,000 books. I'm talking about shelves. Books weren't the only company Michael had around Neverland. Animals were everywhere on the property, and over time, they became another normal part of his surroundings. But they weren't simply there as attractions for visitors. Home footage shows Michael actually spending time with them, feeding them, and playing around with them. Bubbles became music, the famous example. But Michael's interest in animals went much further than one chimpanzee. For Michael, music, being around animals, was simply another way he could step away from the studio, the stage, and everything that normally came with being one of the most famous people in the world. What is the llama's name? Is he part of his family? Yeah, his name is just a character. No, he's sweet. His name is Louis. I like animals. I think they're one of God's most incredible creations. Seems like a nice animal. They are. They're very affectionate, and he eats alfalfa. He's really sweet. Lizzie is originally from the circus, and I used to give kids rides 60 pounds or under. I understand you very good at making him perform. Me? No. Well, no. I don't make him perform. He performed in circus. I see. I don't know any tricks that he does. It was really sweet. Originally, they're from South America in the mountains. And eventually, the biggest change to Michael's life at home wasn't another studio, ride, or new project. It was becoming a father. Once Prince, Paris, and later Biggie came along, much of Michael's time began revolving around them. Home videos show the ordinary parts of that relationship. Eating together, celebrating birthdays and holidays, watching movies, traveling, and simply spending time around the house. Michael was also closely involved with their schooling and tried to make learning part of everyday life. For someone whose own childhood had been dominated by rehearsals and performances, these small family moments seemed especially important. A free evening wasn't necessarily about finding something for Michael to do anymore. Sometimes it was simply about being dad. Friends, I wish for you to learn about perseverance and confidence and the true meaning of success, which is love. And he was a good father, great father. Good. Tell me what your wishes are for your birthday. What would you like to see happen? For your life. What do you want? I do what you do. What do I do? You dance and sing. That's what you want to do. Really? Me too. If you want more videos like this, hit like, subscribe, and share your thoughts and music in the comments. A free evening wasn't necessarily about finding something for Michael to do anymore. Sometimes it was simply about being dad. Friends, I wish for you to learn about perseverance and confidence and the true meaning of success, which is love. And he was a good father, great father. Good. Tell me what your wishes are for your birthday. What would you like to see happen? For your life. What do you want? I do what you do. What do I do? You dance and sing. That's what you want to do. Really? Me too. If you want more videos like this, hit like, subscribe, and share your thoughts and music in the comments.